I want to start bringing to you stories of heroes of modern Israel. You're going to start seeing me share every day stories of heroism. You know, we've been through unspeakable trauma and unspeakable terror on October 7th and continuing, and there's just so many heroes. And I'm going to give you an example of what you're going to hear. Yusuf Ziadneh. This is a Bedouin Arab. Okay, he's a citizen just like me, but he's an Arab Bedouin. He drove into the midst of that Nova festival. You remember the massacre? They're coming on the hand gliders. They're coming masses. 6,000 Gazans came in, many raping, killing, murdering, maiming. And so he recognized that it's time to go into hero mode. And this guy, Yusuf, gets his minibus and he starts rescuing terrified people that are bloody. And he's recognized as a national hero for risking his life to rescue complete strangers just because they're his fellow citizens. And there's other families who you'll start hearing about: Arab, Jew, nurses, doctors, soldiers. You look in the world and you see what is going on in Toronto, Canada. The International Film Festival, the Toronto International Film Festival. Suddenly there was a video that was going to be shown about the 7th of October and some of these traumas I'm talking about. And suddenly they didn't get the permission because they said, well, we didn't get the terrorists' permission to use the footage that they publicized. Well, according to media law, you're allowed, if someone publicizes something, they publicize that to the world, and not on a private forum. They publicize it. So yes, it is able to be used, but it's just really strange that it's ridiculous that they found an excuse to ignore and to exclude the 7th of October reality of why we're in the position we're in from this film festival. And it just shows the sad state of affairs that we're in right now in the world, the deception going on in the West, the people choosing sides. There's a study right now that Hamas timed that massacre on October 7th to be right at the peak of the crisis of us disunified in Israel. Disunified, a lot of disunity. These seculars that want the religious to serve in the army, then the religious don't want to serve, and political strife and trials. And so a newly revealed Hamas intelligence report shows that they viewed the political turmoil in Israel as a time to launch a decisive blow to destroy Israel. And so you have Eyal Zamir, our chief of staff in the IDF, approved the main framework for what's next. The operational plan in Gaza to surround Gaza City, take over Gaza City, and it would really entail first allowing the population to leave. They could leave the entire Gaza Strip. They can move to another safe area. Hamas needs to be disarmed, dismantled entirely. And so I know there is some talk about it's been for a while, looking at other countries that would take in Palestinians that are wanting to, if they so choose to leave, would be able to leave to, it's not livable, it's not habitable there. They don't need to be staying there. They need to move on. And I know that Hamas is signaling suddenly a willingness to talk. They're so back and forth. And we're at their behest. And we don't need to be at their behest. We need to say, that is it. Time's up. Time's up. Okay? And so I know that even the truck drivers for the aid, it's been revealed that the truck drivers were always saying, how is the Hamas stealing the aid when it's coming through the UN? It's coming through the UN, and suddenly you have all these trucks being robbed. And I'm like, how are they getting on the trucks? Well, guess what? And look at this. They don't want the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to be there. There's protests worldwide against Johnny Moore, who's a Christian Zionist, and against the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and all the aid they're bringing. Why are they protesting against aid? I thought it's a famine, they said, right? It's because they know that UN lets the Hamas take it. And here's what's being discovered is that some of the drivers, our aid truck drivers, have links to the terror group Hamas. They're Hamas workers, bunch of them. After months of wondering what's going on, Israel's starting to make arrests. Enough's enough. And you know what else? After months of rejecting the U.S. and Qatari mediated peace proposals, Hamas is saying, well, we don't want to lose Gaza City. We're willing to consider talking. I don't know what they're talking about, but they're talking about a transitional government that would come in. Maybe it would be America. Maybe it would be Saudi Arabia led. I don't know. who would make sure that the Hamas would disarm, but they continually reject that. They say they use a lot of words, but they say we will not disarm, we will not dismantle, and we'll not release the hostages. Well, keep your eyes peeled. We're gonna get those hostages. We're gonna go in and we're gonna get them living or deceased. You know, you look at Iran and you say, there's a lot of rumors about another war with Iran. Is it going to be another continuation? It was just a ceasefire. Is it going to continue? It's been wild. And then their proxies, Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen. Do you know that we've had, in the last 3 weeks since we've bombed Yemen, there's been 7 ballistic missiles launched towards Israeli territory. 5 crossed, triggered alerts all over Tel Aviv, all over major cities. 7 drones, attack drones, launched toward Israeli territory. We've been able to intercept these, okay? But it's not cool. You see the water crisis, and I say in Iran, and I say, is that not telling? We didn't do the water crisis. There's like sarcasm out there saying, well, the Mossad breathed in all the moist air, and so that's why there's a water crisis. No, we didn't do it. That's an act of God, because Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini was cursing Israel. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was cursing Israel. President Ibrahim Raisi was cursing Israel. President Ahmadinejad was cursing Israel. They're all cursing Israel, and now they got no water. It's like if they keep threatening the world with nuclear weapons, then, you know, it's going to just get worse and worse. Tehran is looking at the possibility that maybe Britain, France, and Germany will reactivate those sanctions on them. And they said that would be something that could topple their whole entire economy entirely, topple the entire government, and make widespread worry about a regime change. New people would rise up and kick out these evil heads of the octopus of terror. I look at God's heart through all this. Deuteronomy 33. There is no one like the God of Yeshurun, that's another name for Israel, who rides through the heavens to help you. He rides through the heavens in his majesty. The eternal God is your dwelling place, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he will thrust out the enemy from before you and say, destroy them.